Stay silent. Everything will come to you naturally. Listen, I need y'all to understand something real important today. A lot of people don't get this, and that's why they stay stuck, frustrated, and confused. But I'm about to give you a key that will unlock doors in your life, and that key is silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can have in your life. Most people don't realize this because we live in a world that glorifies noise. Everybody wants to talk. Everybody wants to be heard. People feel like they have to announce their every move, tell the world their plans, and prove themselves to others. But the truth is, the most successful, the most wise, and the most blessed individuals understand the value of silence. They know that the loudest person in the room is rarely the one with the real power when you're constantly talking, constantly explaining yourself, constantly trying to prove something. You're wasting energy that could be used to build. Silence allows you to observe it, allows you to learn. It allows you to think before you act. People who are always talking don't take the time to listen. And if you're not listening, you're missing out on opportunities, wisdom, and lessons that could change your life. Silence gives you control when you don't react to everything, when you don't let people pull you into unnecessary conversations. You keep your power. People who can't control their mouth often can't control their emotions, and people who can't control their emotions make bad decisions. But when you stay silent, you give yourself time to process, to understand, to move strategically. Every great leader, every great thinker, every successful person knows when to speak and when to stay quiet. There's a difference between being silent out of fear and being silent out of wisdom. Some people don't speak up because they lack confidence. That's not what this is about. This is about intentional silence. This is about knowing when to keep things to yourself, because not everybody needs to know what you're doing. Not everybody needs access to your thoughts, your plans, your dreams. When you keep things private, you protect them, you give yourself space to grow. Without interference, you avoid unnecessary negativity from people who don't have your best interests. At heart, a lot of people ruin their own blessings because they talk too much, they share their ideas too soon, they tell the wrong people their dreams, they let outside opinions shake their confidence. When you're constantly seeking validation, when you're constantly looking for approval, you give people power over you. But when you keep things to yourself, when you move in silence, you stay in control. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need an audience for your journey. Silence also makes you unpredictable. And when people can't predict your next move, they can't interfere with it. They can't block what they don't see coming. Some people will smile in your face and secretly hope you fail. Others will try to discourage you, not because they don't believe in you, but because they don't believe in themselves. If you tell small-minded people your big dreams, they'll try to shrink them, not because they're trying to hurt you, but because they don't have the vision to see what you see. That's why it's best to keep quiet and let your results speak. Being silent doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means you are working, preparing, building without distractions. It means you are allowing things to unfold naturally instead of trying to force them. It means you are trust in the process, knowing that the right opportunities, the right people, and the right timing will come. Instead of using your words to convince others, you use your actions to prove yourself. And when the time is right, you won't have to say a word, because your success will speak for itself. People spend so much of their lives trying to force things to happen. They chase success, relationships, opportunities, and recognition, thinking that if they push hard enough, they can make everything fall into place. But what they don't realize is that forcing something that isn't meant to be in your life only leads to frustration, stress, and disappointment. When something is truly meant for you, it flows naturally. It comes at the right time in the right way and with the right energy. But too many people try to grab hold of something before it's ready, and in doing so, they disrupt the natural process that was already working in their favor. The idea that you have to constantly push, constantly fight, and constantly hustle just to make things happen is a misunderstanding of how real success works. Hard work is necessary, yes, but there's a difference between working hard and forcing something that isn't meant for you. When you force things, you ignore the signs, you overlook the roadblocks, and you try to create something out of desperation rather than purpose. That's why so many people feel exhausted and defeated, because they are working against the natural flow of life instead of aligning with it. You've seen it happen before. People force relationships that don't have a strong foundation. They try to hold on jobs that don't fulfill them. They chase after people who don't respect them. They push for opportunities that don't align with their true calling. And in the end, all they get is stress and disappointment. That's because what's truly meant for you will never have to be forced. It will come with ease, with clarity, and with the right energy. When something is right for you, it won't drain you, it will F you, it won't feel like a natural progression. People often mistake struggle for progress. They think that something is difficult, it must mean they are on the right path. But there's a difference between overcoming challenges and forcing something that was never supposed to be yours in the first place. The right path will always come with challenges, but those challenges will build you, not break you. They will test you, not destroy you. They will shape you, not drain you, to the point where you feel like giving up, letting go of control is one of the hardest things for people to do. They want to know exactly when and how everything will happen. They want guarantees, they want certainty, they want things to go exactly as they plan. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards those who are patient, those who trust, and those who are willing to allow things to unfold naturally. Sometimes the best thing you can do is take a step back, breathe, and trust that what's meant for you is already making its way towards you. The most successful people in the world didn't force their way into success. They aligned themselves with their purpose. They worked hard, they stayed patient, and they allowed opportunities to come when the time was right. They didn't rush the process. They didn't try to control everything. They understood that when you are in the right place doing the right things, the right doors will open. But if you were constantly forcing things, you might be knocking on doors that were never meant for you in the first place. Letting go of control doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your part, showing up, putting in the work, and then trusting that everything else will come together in its own time. It means recognizing when something isn't working and having the wisdom to step back instead of pushing harder. It means understanding that what is truly yours will always find you no matter what. Nature has a way of teaching us everything we need to know about life, patience, and growth. But most people, read too busy rushing, chasing, and forcing things to happen that they miss the lessons nature provides every single day. If you take a moment to observe, you'll see that nothing in nature is ever in a hurry, yet everything still gets done. The trees don't rush to grow, but they still reach their full height. The river doesn't force itself to flow, yet it always finds its way. The seasons don't compete with each other, yet they always change at the right time. Everything in nature moves at its own pace in perfect harmony and still accomplishes what it was meant to do. People struggle because they are constantly trying to speed up their process. They want results overnight. They want success without the journey. They want to skip the lessons and go straight to the reward. But that's not how life works. If a tree tried to rush its growth, it wouldn't develop strong roots. If a river tried to force its flow, it would flood and cause destruction. The same principle applies to life. When you try to force things before their time, you end up doing more harm than good. Growth takes time. You can't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. But that's exactly what so many people try to do. They put in a little work and expect instant success. They start something new and expect immediate results. And when they don't see what they want right away, they get frustrated. They doubt themselves, and sometimes they even give up. But nature shows us that everything has a season and you cannot skip the process. The strongest trees are the ones that took years to grow. The deepest rivers are the ones that carved their way through mountains. Over time, everything valuable takes time to develop, and the process cannot be rushed. A lot of people destroy their own potential by not trusting the timing of their life. They compare themselves to others thinking they should be further ahead. They look at someone else's success and wonder why they haven't reached that level yet. But just like in nature, every tree grows at its own pace. A bamboo tree spends years growing its roots underground before it ever breaks through the soil. But when it finally does, it shoots up rapidly. That's because it took time to build a strong foundation before it was ready to grow. The same thing happens in life sometimes. It feels like nothing is happening, but what you don't see is that everything is growing beneath the surface, preparing you for something greater. When you rush, you miss the beauty of the journey. You overlook the lessons that are meant to shape you. You don't develop the strength, wisdom, and character needed to handle the success you're chasing. That's why patience is so important. Nature doesn't fight against itself. It works with the natural flow of things when you learn to trust your own process. You stop stressing over what's not happening fast enough. You stop forcing things that aren't meant to be. You stop chasing after things that don't belong to you. Instead, you focus on growing, becoming better, and allowing what's meant for you to come at the right time. Nothing in nature worries about the outcome. The tree doesn't stress over when it will bear fruit. The river doesn't panic about reaching the ocean. The flowers don't question whether they will bloom. They just do what they are meant to do in their own time without resistance. That's the lesson life is trying to teach you. Trust the process, be patient, and let everything unfold the way it's supposed to. Working in silence is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Too many people feel the need to announce every move they make, tell everyone their plans, and seek validation before they've even accomplished anything. But the truth is, the loudest person in the room is rarely the most successful. The people who truly make things happen are the ones who keep that airheads down, put in the work, and let their results do the talking. There's something about silence that makes people uncomfortable. They feel like if they're not talking about their goals, if they're not constantly sharing their progress, then they're not really making moves, but that's the complete opposite of the truth. The most successful individuals understand that real progress happens when nobody is watching. The biggest breakthroughs happen in the quiet moments, when you're grinding, learning, and growing without distractions. When you work in silence, you remove unnecessary pressure the moment you start telling everyone what you're going to do. You invite opinions, doubts, and negativity. Some people won't believe in you. Others will try to discourage you, not because they don't think you can succeed, but because they don't want to see you get ahead of them. Some will smile to your face, but secretly hope you fail. When you keep things to yourself, you don't give people the opportunity to. Plant seeds of doubt in your mind. You stay focused, you stay committed, and you move without interference. Another benefit of working in silence is that it keeps you from becoming distracted by validation. A lot of people start something, and before they even achieve results, they rush to show it off. They want people to recognize their effort, to applaud them before the real work is done. But the problem with seeking validation too early is that it can make you feel like you've accomplished more than. You start feeling good about the attention, and before you know it, you lose motivation to keep going. Real success isn't about looking like you're winning. It's about actually winning, and that only happens when you put in the work, not. When you talk about it, the best part about working in silence is that it makes your success undeniable when people don't see the effort, when they don't know what is happening behind the scenes. They have no choice but to be surprised when you show up with results. And by the time they realize what you've been doing, it's too late for them to stop it. They can't doubt what they can see with their own eyes. That's why moving in silence is so powerful, because it doesn't give anyone the chance to interfere with your process. Some people struggle with this because they feel like they need to share their plans to stay accountable. They think that if they tell others, it will push them to follow through. But real accountability doesn't come from other people. It comes from within. If you truly want something, you don't need an audience to keep you on track. You don't need external pressure to stay committed. Your hunger, your vision, and your discipline should be enough. Every great achievement was built in silence before it was ever seen by the world. Every masterpiece started as an idea that no one knew about. Every success story began with hard work that happened behind closed doors. That's why the best thing you could do is focus on the work, not the attention. Don't worry about who's watching, who's supporting, or who's doubting. Keep your energy on building and proving and executing, because when you finally step into the spotlight, your results will speak so loudly that you won't have to say a word. Trusting the process is one of the hardest things to do, because it requires patience, faith, and the ability to keep going even when you don't see results right away. Most people want instant success. They want things to happen on their timeline the way they imagine, without any obstacles or delays. But life doesn't work that way. Everything great takes time to build. And the people who succeed are the ones who understand that the journey is just as important as the destination, Too many people quit because they don't see progress fast enough. They put in work for a few months, maybe even a year. And when things don't happen as quickly as they expected, they start to doubt themselves. They think maybe they're not good enough. Maybe they're not meant for success. Maybe they should just settle. But what they don't realize is that most of the time success is just around the corner. They just have to hold on a little longer, push a little harder, and trust that the process is working even when they can't see it. Everything in life happens at the right time. The problem is people want to control that time, and they want things when they want them. And if it doesn't happen fast enough, they get discouraged. But just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means the foundation is still being built. Sometimes the delay is protecting you from something you're not ready for. Sometimes the struggle is teaching you something you'll need later. Sometimes the waiting period is preparing you to handle the success that's coming. If you got everything you wanted right now, but you weren't ready for it, you wouldn't be able to keep it. That's why trusting the process is so important. People look at successful individuals and think they got there overnight, but they don't see the years of struggle, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt they had to push through. They don't see the failures, the late nights, the times when nothing seemed to be working, but those moments are what built them. Those moments are why they're able to handle the success. When it finally comes, the process isn't just about getting to the goal. It's about becoming the person who is ready for that goal. Trusting the process means understanding that setbacks are not the end. Too many people let failures stop them because they see them as signs to quit instead of signs to grow. Failure is a lesson every time something doesn't work out. It's an opportunity to adjust, to improve, to come. Back stronger. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop. They take every loss, every mistake, every delay, and use it to get better. It's easy to trust the process when things are going well, but the real test is whether you can trust it when things are not going your way. Can you still believe in your dream? When nothing is happening, can you still show up every day when you don't see progress? Can you still keep working when it feels like no one is watching? No one is supporting, no one is paying attention. That's what separates the people who make it from the ones who don't. The ones who make it keep going no matter what. The process will test you before it rewards you. It will challenge you before it blesses you. It will push you to your limits before it opens the doors you've been waiting for. That's why patience, faith, and persistence are everything if you can trust that your time is coming. If you can keep going even when it's hard, if you can, believe in yourself even when no one else does, then success isn't a matter of if. It's only a matter of when. One of the biggest mismatched people make in life is thinking they have to chase everything. They run after success. They run after people. They run after opportunities, believing that if they don't, they'll miss out. But the truth is, what is meant for you will always come to you naturally. The right opportunities, the right people, the right timing. Everything will align when you are in the right place, doing the right things with the right mindset. You don't have to force anything because what belongs to you will never pass you by. People waste so much energy worrying about whether they're in the right place at the right time. They constantly second guess themselves, thinking they should be further ahead, thinking they're falling behind. But life doesn't work on a schedule that you control. You may not see it now, but everything is happening exactly as it should. Every delay, every detour, every closed door, it's all part of the process. You don't have to chase what's already yours. The problem is people don't trust that things will unfold the way they're supposed to. They let fear take over, fear of missing out, fear of not being enough, fear of failure, so they try to force things. They push for relationships that aren't meant to be. They beg for opportunities that aren't aligned with their purpose. They try to control every little detail, thinking that if they don't, everything will fall apart. But when you force something, you disrupt the natural flow, you create stress, anxiety, and unnecessary struggle. Instead of things happening smoothly, they become complicated. Instead of feeling peace, you feel pressure. There's a difference between working for something and forcing something. Working means putting in the effort, showing up, doing what you need to do. Forcing means trying to make something happen. That isn't happening naturally. It means ignoring the signs, pushing against the current, refusing to accept when something isn't right. And that's where people get frustrated because they keep chasing, they keep pushing, and they wonder why things aren't working out. When you stop forcing and start trusting, everything changes. You start to see that what's truly meant for you doesn't need to be begged for. The right relationships won't need convincing. The right opportunities won't require desperation. The right path will unfold without constant struggle. That doesn't mean you won't have to work for it, but it does mean you won't have to exhaust yourself trying to make something fit that was never meant for you in the first place, letting things come to. You doesn't mean sitting around doing nothing. It means preparing yourself so that when the opportunity comes, you're ready for it. It means becoming the best version of yourself so that the right people are drawn to you. It means focusing on growth, not on control. Because when you grow, when you develop, when you move with purpose, the right things will naturally be attracted to you. Think about the sun. The sun doesn't chase anything, yet everything revolves around it. It simply shines, and because it shines, it draws everything toward it. That's how life works when you focus on becoming the best you, when you stop chasing and start trusting. Things start aligning doors, open people appear, opportunities find you, and when they do, they will fit so naturally that you'll wonder why you ever wasted time, wherein everything you are looking for is already on its way to you, the success, the happiness, the relationships, the fulfillment. It's all coming. Your only job is to be patient, stay ready, and trust that what's meant for you will never require you to chase it, because when the time is right, it will come straight to you effortlessly, naturally, exactly the way it was. Always meant to.